Hello, hello, all you beautiful people. Can you believe all of these comic book illustrations were actually generated by AI? More specifically, they were generated using Stable DiffusionXL, ComfyUI, and ComputeGrid. Using these tools, there are a few different ways we can achieve these results. In fact, today we'll be going over not just one, but 3 ways to create AI-generated comic book characters. Let's begin with ComputeGrid, since this video wouldn't be happening without them. They make it effortlessly easy to experiment with and use AI. All we have to do is go to All Instances, select the instance we want to use, and then click Start Instance. It's as easy as a button click. But if you want to practice your button clicks, you can by going ahead and clicking that like or subscribe button below, as this helps our channel out immensely and you might become my new best friend. Maybe. Now that our instance setup is complete, let's go ahead and navigate to Example Machine Learning Workflows and then the SDXL tab. From here, it's just one more button click. With this button, I am installing and running and setting up both ComfyUI and Stable Diffusion. Well, in reality, ComputeGrid's doing that for me because I'm not that good at multitasking. But now all I have to do is click a link, and voila! I am now looking at ComfyUI. Let's go ahead and make sure we're looking at the default workflow, since our next prompt, or our next method, starts here. And all it is simply just modifying our prompts. We're going to go ahead and change this, and make my positive prompt Comic Girl, zoom in a little bit, Comic Girl wearing silver and blue armor with long brown hair and green eyes. I want it to be a graphic illustration. I forgot to spell illustration for a second. I want it to be comic art. It's going to be graphic novel art. All of the keywords. It's going to be vibrant and highly detailed. Next, I'm going to go ahead and deviate from my usual no text, no watermark, and change this to be photograph, deformed, glitch, noisy, realistic, stock photo, all the things we don't want. And don't worry, I'll go ahead and include copies of these prompts for you guys below. Now let's go ahead and change our empty latent image from 512 to 1024 since we are using SDXL. I'm also going to change my batch size from 1 to 4 for all these workflows. And that's it. Just go ahead and click Queue Prompt. And remember, we are making 4 images, so it may take a little longer. There we go. Ooh, not bad at all. Although this is by far the simplest method available, it is definitely still good. It still produces wonderful results as far as I'm concerned. Let's go ahead and move on to our next method, though, to achieve AI-generated comic book illustrations, which is using the revision model. Now, this should sound familiar to those of you who have watched some of our other videos, and if that's not you, no worries. Although I will be going through the steps fairly quickly, if you want a more in-depth look at the revision model, that video will be linked below. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and go to our manager, install models, and then we're going to go ahead and search for clip. From here, we're going to go ahead and select the clip vision model by Stability AI. Now that that's installed, all we have to do is close out and refresh. I like to refresh both from the main menu and then also from the desktop, just to be safe. And now that that's complete, all we have to do is just add in a few more nodes to our workflow. Let's go ahead and start with the load vision node. Sorry, load clip vision. There we go. Which just loads in the model we just installed. This then gets connected to clip vision encode, where we're going to go ahead and attach our load image. I'm going to go ahead and select this as our base image. And then next, you may notice that we have a clip vision output. If we drag that out, we get an unclip conditioning. This is what we use to kind of control how much strength or sway our base image has. And now we also have two conditioning, one input and one output. This is because this is going to go ahead and connect to our positive input, and then gets put in through our case sampler. And actually, normally, with the revision model, we can choose to leave our prompt as it is, or we can go ahead and add in a conditioning 0 out. As with the revision model, we actually don't need any text prompts at all. I'll go ahead though and leave the negative one just because it is nice to have. And just like that, let's go ahead and click Q prompt. And again, we are creating 4 images, so while that loads, I'm going to go ahead and just color in some of my nodes since this is getting a little out of hand. I'm going to move that there. Ooh, let's see what we got. Not too bad at all. And again, this is just passing in just a base image of a comic book character and just adding in our negative prompt. Our positive prompt has no effect on these images because it's zeroed out. And this is just with one image. With the revision model, we can add even more. So let's go ahead and just do a control click, copy and paste this over. You can use your shift and your mouse to kind of drag it up. I'm going to go ahead and change this color now to something a little bit different. Perfect. And now all we have to do is just connect our nodes like so. Clip vision encode to clip vision. And I'm actually going to go ahead and chain my positive prompts together just to make sure that my case sampler actually gets both images. Speaking of which, we now need to change our image. I'm going to go ahead and select this one here. And that's it. Let's go ahead and click Q prompt. And there you go, a little more organized. All right, nice. We see the images feel a little more badass, I kind of want to say. Revision is a great method since it looks at our image subject and the overall art style. But you may notice it's still not an exact one-to-one, and some of people would want it to be. And that's where our next method comes in. Let's go ahead and just clear out our workflow so we can start from scratch or just start fresh. And then now we're going to go ahead and go to our handy dandy manager to install models. And here we're going to search for InstantID. And now we're going to go ahead and install these bottom 3, the InstantID IP adapter, InstantID ControlNet, and the Insight face for InstantID. Once all 3 are installed, we're going to go ahead and just close out and then just refresh our entire page. And now we're going to go back into our manager one more time, but this time we'll go to install custom nodes. Here we're going to search for the exact same thing we did earlier, the InstantID. And we're going to go ahead and install ComfyUI InstantID native support. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and just restart ComfyUI. And refresh our browser just one more time. And now, my friends, we may begin. our first node is going to go ahead and be the apply InstantID. This is going to be the heart and center of our workflow. And we can go ahead and we're just going to start from the top down with these inputs. So first one is going to be the load InstantID model, which does what it sounds. The next one is our InstantID face analysis. And then we're going to need a control net loader since the model we installed is a control net. There we go. Next, we're going to need our base image. And then this image needs to have a face since the way InstantID works is by looking at the face. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this beautiful woman right here. I may or may not have a type, but that's not something we're going to cover today. Alright, but now that we have our image, we're going to need one more model. That's going to be we're going to use that load checkpoint node for that. And this is going to be just our SDXL base model. From here, I'm going to go ahead and drag out my clip to grab my clip text and code. This is going to be my positive prompt. And then I also need one for my negative. Both of these are going to go ahead and get passed in to our apply InstantID node. And that's all the inputs we need just for the basic InstantID workflow. From here, we're going to go ahead and just grab our K sampler, which we should all be familiar with by now, and just drag over our outputs to the inputs. And then we're going to go ahead and just grab a empty latent image. And again, since this is SDXL, we can change this from 512 to 1024 by 1024, and I'm changing my batch size to 4. Lastly, all we need is our VAE decoder and then our preview image. And just like that, that is the basic workflow for InstantID. Let's go ahead and add in our prompts. I'm actually going to go ahead and use almost the exact same prompt as our first workflow. I just said comic character instead of the more specific comic woman with brown hair and green eyes and armor. Our negative prompt, though, is going to stay the same. And now we have a lot going on. We're doing a lot of conditioning. So we're going to go ahead and lower our CFG from 8 to 4.5 just to start off with. And that's really it. Let's go ahead and click Q prompt. And just a reminder that, again, we are doing a lot of conditioning, a lot's going on, and we're doing that 4 times for 4 images. So you may need to be just a little patient. Wonderful. We can see all our results share the same, if not similar, face to our base image. If you want, we even can update our prompt and just say black and white. I just want to see what that gives us if we just change that a little bit. And it looks like in this image they tried to almost add in Marvel characters. This almost looks like the Hulk. I don't know why this reminds me of some sort of Fantastic Four characters, so it looks like it might be trying to apply that comic character over using Marvel characters. Ooh, nice! Another success! And again, this is just the basic workflow for InstantID. We can go even more in depth at even more nodes, even more conditioning to make it even closer to our base image. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I might cover it in our next video. But just like that, we have covered 3 different methods to generate comic book-like images using AI. From the simplicity of just modifying prompts, to connecting different nodes with the revision model, And now, finally, to the very powerful InstantID model. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of AI-generated art as much as I did. And remember, practice makes perfect. So feel free to experiment and try out these techniques on your own. If you start a new account on ComputeGrid, you even get a free $1 to start off, which is the equivalent of 4 hours, basically. And so if you'd like to see more AI-generated art tutorials in the future, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.